My name is Osin Ranima. I work at MIT Media Lab, and I run a program at the Media Lab called Sapion. It's a program that is about thinking about the future of industries as they are adopting AI at scale. And when you have thousands and thousands of people collaborating with thousands and thousands of models. So I'm very much interested in that dynamics. One of the things that I want to talk to you about is a software engineering paradigm that we are introducing, allowing agents to understand perspectives. So think about AI models that allows us to look at the world through other people's lenses. The advancement in AI research when it comes to large language models, very interesting. But when it comes to data sharing, disclosure of the data, and ability to truly create a digital twin of ourselves, we believe that require a different thinking when it comes to creation of these agents. These are things that are happening around us, both in academia and also in the industry. We are shifting from personalization to participation. We don't want to co-locate all the data in a data lake and push things to people. We want people to have a say in terms of how and with what context they want to retrieve that data. We are also seeing systems coming together. We want these systems to pass signals to each other and develop synthesis and intelligence. And a lot of these things are happening under the hood of AI algorithmics and also the applications that we are building. The focus that we have in our group at the Media Lab and as part of the Sapion program is to build a new spectrum, similar to how we have built it for the communications and telecom. We also think that we need to build a new AI spectrum that look at new human AI experience architectures, abstraction of the data, new software engineering paradigms when it comes to formation of these agents, all the way to developing legal contracts and audit in these new objects, which many of them are missing at the moment from a standardization point of view. What I want to talk about today within the confines that I have in about 7 minutes or so, I want to talk to you about one of our work, which is published now, and you can read about it under the keyword of perspective-aware AI. What we are doing, we are using a graph-based approach to build multimodal systems that can process images, texts, CAD drawings, metadata, and by capturing and embedding from that, we are forming these subgraphs that we are adding to a bigger graph object called a chronicle. So think about a chronicle as an AI graph that can capture different contexts from multi-modes and different contexts. We do this on time intervals, so this could be on, almost near real time all the way to every day or every week or every year. And every context that we capture, we add it as a subgraph and a situation graph into a main chronicle. Now, these chronicles are causal graphs. They are not carrying any data, but they give us a very good understanding on the ontological models on how behavioral patterns work. So, for example, me as a father at home versus me as a professor at the university versus when I play a sport or play music. All of these will be added with certain labels and metadata and as subsets of that graph into these bigger ontological graphs across 4 layers of semantics. We then use these objects not just to construct them, but to also do reasoning with them. So we looked at a lot of LLMs. We looked at kind of classic agent-based modeling, which very much rule-based. We looked at things that is coming now from entities like Google, like generative agent-based modeling. And we realized that a lot of them are still based on LLMs and what's available in them. So if you really want to bring your own real environment or your real thinking into those systems, we need to have a new approach. And that's why we introduced these data objects called chronicles, which allows us to learn from the environment, but also reason with them when we are building these agent-based systems. This is a very quick view on the metrics we are looking at in terms of classic ABMs, agent-based modeling, generative ABMs, and what our human AI agents can do. And the big area of importance that we are seeing is the ability to audit biases and be able to have validated answers, which is less prone to hallucination and also the self-perception of agents when you're just primarily relying on LLMs. So if you look at the high-level data structure of our human AI agents, these Chronicles continue to learn from your environment. You can perform some sort of a RAG with them between your LLM and also the Chronicle itself, and continually you learn from your environment. So for those of you who are interested in this, let's say DeepMind and Concordia did this very well, but we are also aware of their limitations. So we have done a lot of work with how we are augmenting memories of these agents. Memories are, they can keep getting expanded. They are very linear. Even if you increase your context windows, that elements of perception from a real human or a real person or a real society is missing in these systems. So some of the experiments that we are running now, we are proving that a company or an organization can actually run on agents. So the org chart on the left-hand side, familiar to all of us, a two-dimensional org chart. Project comes in, people get together based on budget availability and timeline, and they deliver that project. What we are doing on these experiments is that we are representing every single individual in that organization with a human AI agent that is being learned and reasoned through different data systems that we have in a company: HR systems, tax systems, project management systems, email, Slack. All of those are giving a very good tenure of data over at least 10 years. That's how we created our sample, to demonstrate if agents can actually work together to perform the first part of this task. So if you compare what we are doing versus state-of-the-art like Concordia and what DeepMind is doing, what they are doing is on the right-hand side, you have number of agents collaborating with a game master. In our case, and part of our IP, we are incorporating these identities, real identities, into the simulation. Now, someone may say, well, OpenAI and others are doing that as well. They're hiring people to do that, so they do that. We actually allow an organization to keep their data within the premises of their organizations and simulate accordingly. We do a lot of work with DoD and confidential data, so we do not want them to share this data outside their organizations. So think about, you can read all of these on our papers. It's called the Structural Learning for Perspective-Aware AI. It's published, and you can find it on Google Scholar. But we are demonstrating that by incorporating these Chronicles into an organization, you can actually develop a lot of real scenarios for simulations, for putting teams together, for predicting risks, for understanding who works best in what particular settings. So that has gone very well. This is part of an experiment that we did by creating an email agent across 100 people in an organization to learn and build Chronicles from email data and Slack data. The Chronicle captured things such as expert knowledge, workload, competency, responsibility, seniority, and then the color code legends that you see on the bottom left are the things that we are measuring, like collaboration, consultation, synergy, who can work with whom better, creative input. These are things that are very difficult by LLMs to understand. At the end of the day, LLMs do not understand. So by this, we are bringing that intangible view into these systems accordingly. We are getting some very good results. We are showing that human elements and human dynamics are better captured through our systems. If you look at the semantic matching performance, all of the incumbent models are performing less than 50%. They're very good in detecting objects and things, but they are very bad in understanding human dynamics. And these are part of our upcoming research, which we are measuring what is missing in LLMs, in different LLMs, and what we can do with these human AI agents that I'm happy to share that with you later. The last two things that I share are two examples. You may have seen the MIT Media Lab. We now have an intersection between spatial computing and our Chronicles that you can actually walk in the Media Lab, prompt the system and say, I want to look at this research group through the lens of a professor. Now, by wearing a lens, which is essentially a Chronicle, you will be able to filter their biases and input about that particular subject. Now, this could be related to climate or technology, but imagine that we have a digital space, a spatial environment, in which I can wear the Chronicle of all my colleagues and faculty members and see what their view or inputs are about that particular subject. So, of course, it's an interesting interface, but these are important elements for us to depict the future of AI. And one of our students just created these. We are a cross-disciplinary research lab. We have people who are working on molecular biology and AI and all that. And we are always looking for synergy. So using these chronicles, you can basically find two projects and chronicles that are having all the information about publication records, research, interest areas of two professors, collide them with each other, and using orchestration of these agents, you will be able to generate a new idea. This is within the confines of the Media Lab. So as you can see, by tapping these chronicles together, a new idea is being generated in which our students can get involved and work on it. The last thing I show, I know I'm running out of time, just to show you the applications of our project. There is a documentary now you can watch on Bloomberg. It's free. It's called Post-Human, that I work with Emily Chang, and Jeff Hinton is part of that as well, that we are developing the chronicle of a well-known tech journalist, Emily Chang. So we used her videos with Sheryl Sandberg, Natalie Portman, her book, the videos that she has had. And with that, we create a human AI agent for myself and for Emily. So now we do all our reasoning and kind of building the embeddings and making sure that our graphs are well optimized for reasoning purposes. And we also went and fine-tuned those models with facial expression mapping from another organization in Hollywood, which is very good with mapping facial expressions. So now I have a consultation dashboard that instead of just consulting with a black box LLM, on the top I can choose the chronicle that I want to talk to. I can pose a question. The graph will be parsed. The right subgraph and the situation graph will be created. And you may hear the audio, but
by different significant funds. The training data.
So this is a model that not just the facial expression, but the prompt is also be given to me. But the most important part of this is the bottom left corner, which we call it an audit dashboard. Everything that she says changes that audit dashboard, telling me how confident our system is about that answer. Risks, biases, verification, provenance. So this is an intersection between what I called HCI2, humane, calm, and intelligence interfaces rather than human-computer interaction, and the ability to work with these as a decision support. The last example is that you can orchestrate these agents together. So you can pose a question to two chronicles and let them to discuss this and argue that in front of you. And then that allows you to develop your own opinion. So again, it's part of our mandate at Sapion at MIT Media Lab to focus primarily on AI as a decision support rather than a decision maker. So think about what this can do for simulating a presidential debate, a town hall, without you being there. These things can also be cities. So the chronicles doesn't need to be just an individual. It could be representing the collective intelligence of a community in terms of energy consumption, recycling. And then by building those causal graphs embedded into the chronicle, you will be able to do federated learning across all of those chronicles, do symbolic reasoning on them, and represent the value system or the behavior of that community. And we are using that now for understanding ESG patterns and climate metrics and comparing communities together to incentivize them. So I think this is early days. It's a new way of looking at AI. If you're interested in that, by all means, please feel free to reach out. Our Sapion program is new, and then we are looking forward to working with people, organizations, and NGOs that can support this model of empowering people in the usage of AI rather than thinking about replacing them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We really think of so many use cases that happen with this fantastic new experiment. We have a few minutes if anyone want to ask any questions, but if not, any other questions? Just quick question.
Yeah. Hey, Professor. So just wondering, Is there a way, or have you kind of explored leveraging the Chronicles to find in an organization potential inefficiencies where there might be something that overlaps in an organization that may not be as organized as it should have been?
Very good point. The research is not at a stage that we can do comparative analysis. So we are basically quantifying metrics that some of the ones that I showed you, synergy, collaboration, delivery, we are measuring them with incumbent values in terms of what the company used to do. And with a very large telecom carrier, we are publishing a paper to say this is without human AI agents and this is with human AI agents. I think as the initiative grows, then it will be very interesting to compare clusters of Chronicles collaborating with each other. We applied this to a project management tool that we predicted the efficiency in the combination of teams that are working together. But those are all hypotheses at the moment because now the people should actually do the work and then be measured as part of an experiment.